January 12, 2015, I started my Disney college program. On July 30th, 2015, exactly 1 year ago today, it ended. Dear January 11th, 2015, me. Okay, hi, first of all, congratulations. You've been talking about the program for over 5 years at this point, and it's hard to believe that it's finally your turn. All those years of reading blogs and watching vlogs and awaiting your turn and awaiting this day, and now it is your turn. Do you remember when you woke up around 3 p.m. on the day apps dropped and told yourself you wouldn't apply the first day? Remember when you applied an hour later? And do you remember when you got the email for the web-based interview during your Wednesday night class? Do you remember going home from that class and taking your web-based interview and remember how shocking it was to immediately see that you passed? Do you remember how nerve-wracking it was to watch Kara take hers right after you? And do you remember when you scheduled your phone interview? And all those years of preparing your answers for the questions were finally coming into play. Do you remember seeing the unknown number calling and feeling your stomach drop to your toes? Do you remember when you were freaking out about your interview and you were sure that you bombed it, only to find out later that you were in? Do you remember reading that email, and do you remember when you thought for sure you knew what you were getting yourself into? I do, and now I know that you were very, very wrong. Saying goodbye to home and your friends was a little tough, wasn't it? You'll miss it a little bit from time to time, but you'll quickly get over that because what's to come is the best 7 months of your life. Tomorrow, you'll begin a program that will change your life forever. Don't be nervous to meet your roommates at IHOP. They're lovely people and you will grow to love them very, very much. You'll also grow to love that IHOP. Oh, and Shelby isn't afraid of butterflies like you thought you heard that morning, so just a heads up. And also, you're gonna leave your laptop underneath your seat at IHOP, and the nice waitress who has lots of pens and sparkly eyeshadow will bring it to you. She's a very nice lady and you will grow to love her as well. Give her a good tip. Okay, so check in. It's a little different than you imagined. Not a bad different, but just different. The line is significantly shorter than everyone says it is, and you'll get through it within like an hour. It's gonna be extremely hot though, so maybe leggings weren't your best choice for the day, but you'll be all right. And it'll rain again, practically monsoon, so yeah, welcome to Florida. Oh, and that Polaroid you take the day of check-in of the 10th, you'll cry in a few months because of that, so good call. Your apartment will be on the 3rd floor, which is the best thing that could ever happen to your health. Climbing up those stairs every day, multiple times a day will make it a lot easier, and you'll learn quickly how to load your arms up with groceries to make the least amount of trips as possible. You'll also trip up those stairs a few times. Also, your roommates are very lovely people. Things will get tense at some times, but at the end of the day, you love them all very much. Patterson 16304 is your first home in Orlando, and it will start to truly feel like that as time goes on. A lot will happen in this apartment. You'll get yik-yacked about twice for being loud. You'll kill a lot of cockroaches, you'll do a lot of puzzles, someone will lose the Apple TV remote and you will literally never find it. At the end of the 5 months, saying goodbye and packing up the apartment will be really tough, but we'll get to that later. You're gonna be slightly uneasy about your work location, but I wanna tell you that Fantasyland will teach you so much. You do belong there, and please don't think otherwise. You'll miss those puffy sleeves and that purple skirt, so don't take this time for granted. The classes at Disney University before training are very boring. They're long and tedious, but they are pretty interesting and you should not fall asleep during them. You also have a class with a girl named Amy. You'll only meet her briefly, but she'll become very important later on. On-the-job training will be interesting, but don't worry, you'll figure it all out later. You're also going to be extremely intimidated by stalking, but you'll quickly learn that you're actually very good at it. You'll be trading all your register shifts for it. You'll be known as one of the regular stalkers, and it'll be rare anyone will see you in Fantasyland purple. Driving the Pargo is a lot of fun too, and the strangers in the utilidors are going to be very kind and help you pick up the garbage that falls out of it when you're driving. Thank them every time because it's gross. Also, don't be afraid of the Baylor, it's actually not that scary. Your training buddy Katie is a very lovely person, and the bond you make training will last with you throughout your entire time in Fantasyland. On the 3rd day of on-the-job training, you're going to have a trainer named Emmanuel. He's not an old man like you thought. You will form such a strong connection with Manny, who quickly will become one of the most important people in your life. Pay attention to this friendship early on. You'll learn so much about yourself, life, and love from him. He is very important. In the coming weeks, you'll also meet Ashley. It'll take a while, but she'll become one of your very best friends. You'll also meet Maxton and Jamie. They're also very important. You'll meet a lot of other very, very lovely people in Fantasyland, like Nick and Orlando and Lizzie and Allie and the Taylors and so many more that they just can't all be named. But they'll become your family and they are great. There are also some people that aren't so great, but don't worry about them. They don't matter. You're gonna sell thousands of dollars worth of princess dresses over the next few months and grow to not be quite the fan of glitter. Your guest is gonna ask you where the dingleberries are, and you're gonna laugh and tell them that the dinglehoppers are with the Ariel stuff, and this will become one of your favorite stories to tell back home. And like a month in, a little girl is gonna come up to you and she's gonna tell you she's lost and that her family went in a small door and went poof. This will also become one of your favorite stories. They're by Winnie the Pooh, by the way. She finds her parents. Also, one night after closing, you're gonna walk into the dressing room at Castle Couture and see hangers and dresses everywhere, and you're just gonna close the door and sit down and shed a little tear from the stress, but it's alright. You also waltz with Manny during Wishes when you both work at Bonjour and become one of your favorite traditions. Ashley will also call you from Zone 1 over at Pooh's. just to say hi, and it'll make you laugh. You should cherish those phone calls and dances. You will miss them. In early March, you're going to get an email about extending your program. You're going to apply and you're going to preference attractions. People are going to tell you that it's unlikely that you'll get the new role, but they're very wrong. A few weeks later, you'll get an email on your way to work saying you got the extension and that you were officially in your dream role, attractions. You'll shed a tear and call Kara immediately and make her check her email. She'll get her extension too. So will Sarah. You're going to preference a bunch of different attractions and you won't get any of them, but that turns out okay in the end. May will roll around sooner than you thought, and it'll be time to say goodbye to Fantasyland, your roommates, and your first apartment. It's going to be really, really sad, but that's okay because good things are still to come. Your last day in Fantasyland will be very uneventful. No one will realize that you're leaving until you say it's been real to the last few people that are there after closing. But that's okay, because that lane's still there and so are the people. Saying goodbye to your 3 roommates will be very hard. They've been there from the start of it all, but it's okay because you'll see them again someday too. You always have a special bond with them. Moving day will come around and you'll be very unprepared. You should have packed sooner, but this is the day that you move 2 minutes down the road to a new apartment that you will absolutely fall in love with. This is also the day that you finally get to spend a real chunk of time with Amy. Remember her from training? Turns out she works with Kara and Sarah, and this is the day she becomes your roommate and one of your best friends. She is very important. Also, let me talk to you about your lovely roommate Kara for a second. Be incredibly grateful for her throughout your entire program. She'll be your constant from start to finish, and this program will bring you closer than ever. I don't think you could have done it without her, so make sure you thank her frequently. Kara.
What?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
May will also bring the start of your new role, attractions, your dream role that you've been thinking of since you heard about the program. You'll work at Splash Mountain and training will be insane and you'll be intimidated and scared. Waking up at 5 a.m. for training is going to be hard and you are almost late the first day, but the sunrise at the top of the big lift makes it all worth it in the end. Your trainer's name will be Dory and you will train alongside with a man named Matt. You are her first trainees and she's stressed and you're stressed, but it all turns out okay. Ask a lot of questions and pay attention always. Oh, and you are right, you love grouping and you're pretty good at it and people will appreciate that. At Splash you'll encounter a lot of ruthless guests. People do not mess around when it comes to fast passes and height checks. You'll get yelled at by a lot of guests, but take it with a grain of salt because you'll also make a lot of magic. You're just doing your job and the best that you can. You will also get to eventually evacuate the mountain and you'll be very scared for some reason, but you'll grow to love it. Walking around on a mountain is something not a lot of people can say they've done, and it's so cool. At Splash, you will meet Greg. Greg is important. He will teach you a lot. Be thankful for Greg. You'll also meet Leslie, also important. He will become one of your best friends. You will also meet Angelo and Jen, and you guessed it, they are also important. Angelo, Jen, Greg, and Leslie will adopt you into their squad, and that will become very special to you. You'll also meet Erin. You'll bond with her over your past in Fantasyland, and she will eventually drive 8 hours to visit you in Illinois. You also meet Lauren and Taylor and Wes and Alan, Kate and Cornell and Chad and Courtney and Rachel and Taylor and Will and so many more wonderful people. They'll make leaving so tough, so prepare yourself for that. You should get to know these people sooner rather than later because your time is very limited and your departure date will creep up on you very quickly. Your new apartment is amazing. Living with Kara, Amy, and Sarah will be a lot of fun. They'll all work stupid crazy hours at the Emporium, but waiting up for them every night will be worth it. Be careful when it comes to Amy's birthday. You're gonna light candles and they're gonna melt down so short that when she goes to blow them out, flames will spew everywhere. But nothing catches on fire and it makes for a good story. Amy will also step on a snail and she will cry about it, but don't worry because you vlogged the day, so you'll have the video forever. Living with these 3 will also bring you their coworkers, Josh and Mike. This group of people will become your squid, and you will be sad that you did not meet them sooner. But spoiler alert, you will have a steady group chat with them after your program that still goes on till this day. So don't worry, they're still around. Your last day at Splash will arrive and you'll be very sad. You'll track walk and evac one last time. You'll get your bump out from Eric and walk to the management trailer. You'll have your final meeting with Tim and Angela and they will make you tear up during your performance review. They'll thank you for your work you've done and you'll say goodbye and step outside. This is when things will get very real. You'll start crying, bawling as you walk back to the Splash break room. You'll clock out for the last time and look up the stairs and see Cornell at the top of the stairs. Your face will be completely red and your eyes will be filled with tears. You'll go to the break room and cry some more as you say goodbye to the office and the nasty chairs and the fridge and tower and all your friends. Cornell will start to tear up, causing you to cry even more. You'll be a mess, but it'll be a lovely mess. You'll then leave to go meet up with Greg and you'll text him to warn him that you are indeed a mess. Remember when I said you should be thankful for Greg? This is why. He dealt with a very emotional you. Be sure to thank him many times. The next few days will be the roughest of all. You'll spend a lot of time cramming in things that you haven't done yet. You'll go out in the pouring rain to go to Magic Kingdom by yourself and watch Kara make magic on her last night at work. You'll cry. You'll spend a day with Maxton finally playing Sorcerers of Magic Kingdom, and you'll be oddly disappointed with the game. That day you'll also run into your favorite high school teacher at Magic Kingdom, and you'll give his kids all your fast passes. Another day you'll spend 2 hours wandering around Walmart with Greg waiting for your oil to be changed, and you'll mix your 2 land families and have one of your favorite days with Greg, Leslie, and Ashley. And also you'll procrastinate packing up until the very last night because you just don't want it to be real. Then, your last day, a year ago today. You'll wake up later than intended, take a lot more time to pack than intended, pray that everything fits in your car, drive Erin to the airport, say goodbye to her, and take a bunch of pictures on the couch one last time with your roommates. You'll then turn in your keys and your ID to the main office. You'll officially have moved out of Commons 1612. You'll then drive to costuming and turn in your last costume and make your way to Magic Kingdom for one last trip. You'll get to Magic Kingdom and spend the day with your favorite people. You'll sit on the deck at Tom Sawyer Island in the rocking chairs for 2 hours and then finally get kicked off. You'll watch Festival of Fantasy one last time. You'll find a lot of your friends that are working and say goodbye. You'll take a ton of pictures and you'll soak in every last second at the place that has changed your life with the people that have greatly influenced that change. Jamie, Greg, Amy, Ashley, Manny, and Maxton will all come out at some point during the day to hang out and say goodbye, and you'll realize just how wonderful your friends truly are. You'll hold it together until it's time to watch Celebrate the Magic and Wishes one last time. You'll stand in a huge crowd surrounded by people you love and bawl your eyes out. You'll get together again until Wishes. This is when you look over and see Kara crying. This is when things get very, very real. You'll say some goodbyes and then go ride Splash for the last time. This is when you finally have to say goodbye to the mountain and the people that have become your home. You'll then make your way to the hub grass. You'll lay there with Sarah, Amy, Mike, Manny, Ashley, and Kara one last time and watch the kiss goodnight. You'll then move to Main Street, take some pictures, and then say goodbye to the castle. You'll walk under the train station to the front and say goodbye to Sarah, your roommate for the last 7 months, someone that's been there from the start. You'll then leave the gate and officially say goodbye to your home. At this time, tears are forming and they will release any second. You'll walk hand in hand with Manny to the Contemporary parking lot, trying to hold it together. When you get to the parking lot, you'll realize it's now time to say goodbye to Ashley and Amy. Ashley and Amy are 2 of the most important and incredible people you have ever met. You will bawl your eyes out and promise that you'll see them again soon, which ends up being sooner than expected, so don't worry. You'll get in the car with Kara and you'll cry more than you have ever cried in your entire life. It won't be like a normal controllable cry. It'll be enough tears to fill the Seven Seas Lagoon. Probably twice. You'll then drive to Manny's and you'll passionately discuss the last 7 months of your life with Kara while tears are pouring from both of your faces. You realize that life will never be the same as it was the last 7 months and it'll suck so bad. You'll finally get to Manny's and be ridiculously exhausted, physically and emotionally. You'll cuddle up with Manny and Kara, your 2 rocks throughout your entire program, and you realize just how lucky you were to experience something so incredible. You'll fall asleep and have the best sleep of your life. You'll wake up and have to say goodbye to Manny and Brandon. It's hard, but at this point you're out of tears for now, so you won't cry. Instead, you'll make your way to the car, stop at Wawa for lunch, and make your way back home. And this is where things get weird. You'll get home and the last 7 months of your life will feel like such a blur. You'll pull in your driveway, go inside and see Mom, Minnie, and Harley for the first time in 7 months. She's gonna make a photo collage of pictures from your program for you and it'll make you really sad. The sinking feeling will start and you won't know what to do with yourself. You'll eventually go see where you're gonna live for the next year and see Jake, your best friend, for the first time in 7 months. Things get a little better and you'll remember that Illinois isn't so bad after all. Every single person in the next coming months will ask you about the program. They'll try to understand, but remember that it's something that truly cannot be understood by anyone unless they go through it themselves. That's okay though, you can't expect them to understand. You'll start to realize just how much the program changed your life when you realize that nothing at home has changed. It's a very weird feeling and it's weird to explain to anyone else. Home is familiar and the last 7 months have been anything but. You'll think back on all the people you met, memories you've made, and magic and happiness you've created. You'll go through all the stuff from your program and become extremely thankful that you had something so special. The coming months will be hard, but I do promise that it does get easier. Your friends are the greatest, and Ashley, Manny, Amy, Mike, and Aaron will all make their way to Illinois at some point to visit. You'll also eventually find your way back to Orlando for a visit. Multiple visits actually. You'll make new memories and traditions and connections that will make you so excited for the future and your future in Orlando. As you can see, the Disney College program will be nothing like you expected. It'll be so much more. This program will change your life in more ways than you could have ever imagined. The journey will be hard, quite possibly the hardest thing you ever do, but in the end you wouldn't trade any of it for anything. So get ready because after tomorrow everything changes and I'm so proud of you for letting it happen.